Of resolution number 201-00201, approving certificate of payment number 8 for industrial process technology and for engineering.
Good evening. I'm Joe Baxter with Olson Associates. I'll give a project update. The pieces are coming together real nice for the project. The main treatment system, the sequencing batch reactor, is mechanically about 99% complete. The factory rep was on site today, did equipment check on all the installation. You had one minor item that he requested the contractor to change. The contractor actually finished that today. So equipment-wise, the main treatment equipment has all been installed and accepted. The big item is left to complete is getting all the electrical ran to the equipment in the basin. There's about 2 to 3 weeks is what we're estimating to get the electrical work completed. That actually fits in real nicely with the painting that we did of the equipment in the basin as a 28-day cure window. That window runs through March 5th, so about the time that the cure window expires, they should have the electrical work completed on the basins. One of the other items we need to complete before we can start up the SPR basins is get the electrical feed switched from, it currently feeds into the digester building, which is one of the existing buildings on site, to the new dewatering building. At the same time we're doing that, the city department's going to upgrade the transformers on site. We walked through the schedule of that today at our progress meeting, and barring weather, that switchover has been set for next Thursday at 9 a.m., which will take the power down to the plant temporarily and upsize the transformers as well as switch electrical feed. Firm startup date we haven't set yet. The contractor needed to get with the factory representative to find when their personnel would be available to come out on site. We're probably looking at the week of March 8th or March 15th is probably the week we're going to start at the basins. From our perspective, that fits in real well. Being a biological process, the warmer the weather, the faster the startup process will go. So, mid-March would be as a kind of an ideal time frame on our end to get started. Switching over, we should start seeing effluent that meets permit limits within June. So there's probably 1 month in there which the plant technically won't meet permit compliance, but we've discussed that with NDQ. They're aware that startups take a while, and they're comfortable with the schedule on that end. The other pieces that we need to complete, the dewatering building is kind of the next piece that is falling behind that. That's about 4 to 6 weeks worth of work to get that operational. And then once the SBR has been switched over, the last item we'll complete is the switching the digester building from its current operation as a digester to basically a sludge holding building. So we could get started doing that before the SBR basins were operational by taking one digester out of service. Timing-wise, contractor was looking to see how he wanted to work that, but the last piece on our end will have to get completed is that. And then depending how weather goes this spring, the site improvements, there's a little bit of site improvements that we have left to complete once the frost goes out of the ground and the contractor is able to complete the little bit of sidewalk and some grading on site. Contractor's hoping by the end of May to basically have the work finished up and all work completed and the project wrapped up.
Then we get to start depreciating this project then, right?
You can start depreciating that project.
Yep.
Okay. Any other discussion? Is there any motions on the resolution then?
I make a motion we accept resolution number 201-00201.
Second.
A motion by Gaston, second by Hyatt. Roll call, please.
Witherspoon?
Yes.
Van Vliet?
Yes.
Hyatt?
Yes.
Gaston?
Yes.
Basinger?
Yes.
Thank you. Passed 5-0. Going to move to item 6. Consideration of a request of Sidney Public Schools regarding permanently permit diagonal parking along the south side of Jackson next to Sidney High School and restripe the parking stalls and painting of curb. and including the east entrance curb, the parking lot, and resolution number 201-00202 regarding same. Does that sound right?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to you? All right.
I'm John Hawkinson, Superintendent of Sidney Public Schools. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I want to thank the City Council for allowing for the temporary parking along Jackson Street for the construction crews that came and went. And since the project's wrapped up for the most part, our teachers have been parking along Jackson there, and it's been very convenient for them to be able to enter the building from the north. So we, if it's amenable to you, we'd like to continue to do that. And along with that, to paint the curb and the stalls that go along the street there. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Ken?
I'd only have a question for Hank, if he could answer that. Sorry, Hank. Does the way it's laid out right now meet all?
We'll have to change it and restripe it, because when we did the temporary thing, we only had like a 10-foot wide opening in that gate. And since then, it's quite a bit wider. So it's going to have to be reconfigured. And on each end, there'll be a crosswalk probably on each end of that street, so it's going to have to come back 20 feet before you start your parking stalls, no matter if it's parallel or diagonal either way. But we'll just have to reconfigure it and restripe it differently. They're about wore off anyway.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
So, does it work for you, Hank?
Pardon me?
Has it worked for you, having diagonal parking?
John, do you have any more wrecks or anything, or any problems?
No, it's been fairly smooth.
I mean, that was one of the concerns.
Right.
I guess I see a problem over there. It's been kind of a tough winter. I haven't had really nice days in the ice situation. Maybe, is there anything in the plans to maybe put a storm sewer up to catch the snow melt off from the pile so it doesn't ice up on the north side of the building?
I think, Marv, we've looked at that, and one of the problems is tying in that storm sewer into the 19th Street. There's a capacity issue maybe there, the amount of flow. I don't know. We haven't looked at that seriously, but that was discussed at one point in time. And you're right, the icing there is pretty bad. We've had to chip that out. Might be something down the road to look at. Not currently.
Where does the parking lot drain off to?
I think it runs down
Right there?
Jackson Street.
Does it?
Yeah. It's
It all ends up in
gravity flow.
19th Street storm sewer anyway. It just,
We addressed that in our comments back and forth with the contractors and stuff, with the school, when they were designing the high school and site layouts and stuff, that we were concerned about that icing up and stuff, and we mentioned to them that a storm drain may be advisable in the future. Catch that water, like you said, Mark, catch that water before it gets over there in the shade
Right.
and ices up, so.
What's the probability of putting any dip in there at all to head it to the north side? None?
It's where, the water's going where it needs to go. It sits in the shade all the time
Yeah,
with the
I know.
high school.
We're going to try to put ice melt in there when we can to help a little bit.
Okay. Any other discussion?
As long as Hank's fine with it, I'm fine. Sounds good to me.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any motions on the resolution then?
I'd make a motion, we accept resolution number 201-00202.
Second.
Have a motion by Filsinger, second by Van Vliet. Roll call, please.
Van Vliet?
Yes.
Hyatt?
Yes.
Gaston?
Yes.
Pilsinger?
Yes.
Witherspoon?
Yes. Passed 5-0. We will move to item 7, presentation of the annual report from the Sidney Public Library Director by Doris Jensen.
Good evening. I'm Doris Jensen, Director of the Sidney Public Library, and I would like to also point out that I have a board member with me tonight, Amy Halkelman, who served on the board over 4 years. So, seems like this comes around faster than what it should. I'm happy to do our report tonight.